everybody. I'm Jeremy Hobbs, and welcome to the very first episode of Rise Above Insanity. I have dealt with a lot of insanity here lately. I'm sure you all have too. The reason why we're bringing this podcast to you is because we have to do something. You know, if everything goes left unchecked, it becomes facts. It becomes a factor that enrages people, like what we saw on January the 6th, 2 years ago. We have to start facing and, not just letting them say what they want to and spew out the hatred that they want, because we live in some dark times right now. I don't know if people are grasping the reality of that or not, but, I'm excited to be doing this. I mean, I kept debating whether I wanted to do this or not. And I believe it's somebody's got to do it. I mean, and I'm going to, this is going to be, everybody thinks Jeremy Hobbs is nice. And I am for the most part, because I have to be on a lot of things. But I think this program, it's time to call out the idiocracy. It's time to call out the stupidity. It's time to call out the haters. I don't have a problem doing that, not whatsoever, because say for instance, Columbus, Georgia, the place where I reside and everything else, every other city, I think 13 cities in the state, except for us and Macon, have yet to pass a non-discrimination ordinance. And it's unreal. It helps us with our MEI score. If you don't know what that is, it's Municipal Equality Index score. And right now, ours is sitting at I want to say a 61, 62, somewhere in there. It's not that great, not at all. And it's got to change. So what do we need to do that? And I look at the score, and all of it boils down to that we need a non-discrimination ordinance. We could raise our points and have a passing grade with an extra 30 more points, making a 90-something, and we would be attracting more business to the city. But instead, they want to call out, it's a gay bill and all this other stuff. And, I'm sick of all the damn hate that's out here. And I'll basically tell you what it all boils down to. And I'll tell you, because this year I run the Pride Agency here in Columbus, Georgia. And this year our theme is Together We Rise. Because, the one main rule is that we must come together. If we're ever going to work, if we're ever going to achieve stuff, we're going to have to do it together. We can't just do it on our own, because we just keep running around the same obstacle course, making the same mistakes because we're all about us. And to hell with them, then we're not doing anything for the other team. We've got to work with that other team. We've got to work with Black Lives Matter. We've got to work with Moms Against Gun Violence. We've got to work against all these things, work with all these people to make sure that the message is brought together, united. Why do we choose Together We Rise? For the past 2 years, we've seen an increase in violence against LGBTQ citizens, new discriminatory laws passed to create ignorance around the LGBTQ plus subject itself, with laws like don't say gay in the classroom. What the hell, man? I mean, what do you want to do, erase it so it doesn't exist? I had somebody put a thing in the other day. Don't be labeling my child as LGBT youth. They're not LGBT. They're just youth. These people have no clue what it is to be gay. Not one iota. Of course they don't, because they're not gay. But the problem is with that is that, they're sitting here passing all these judgmental laws on top of it, saying that if a teacher tries to discuss gender identity, they'll have their license taken away from them. I mean, this is an unreal I mean, I can't even wrap my head around it. The laws that are being passed in this country. I mean, it's just like, uh, folks, it's mind numbing. It really is. But like in Alabama, where trans youth are now being told they cannot have access to hormone therapy drugs to prevent effects of puberty, which can be very traumatic for these people. If they already know that they're a man, already born a man, living as a believe they're female, know they're female all the way through. They don't want the deep voice. They don't want the leg hair. They don't want the mustache and all that stuff. They don't want all that because it's going to create more havoc for them. That's why these blockers are in place to help them transition. And to sit there and say that they can't have any until they're 18 years of age is just downright criminal. It's discrimination in every form. You don't understand something. You're making rules about something you have no clue about. Where did our government get off telling us what we can do with our personal lives now? I thought this was a democracy. I thought this was a free country. As we see every day, our freedoms are slowly slipping away. That's not a free country, folks. It's totalitarianism. And it's all coming from one basic end. I mean, I ain't gonna say the Democrats are great, but the Republicans have lost their damn minds. Marjorie Taylor Greene from Georgia, and I apologize for her to all my friends out there. That is the craziest cuckoo woman I've ever seen in my life. And people keep voting for them. What the hell is wrong with people out there? Oh, she talks what she's. I love the main thing I always said about Trump. He says what he thinks. He's an idiot. He doesn't have a single thought of his own in anywhere. So, we've got a lot of work to do. But the Supreme Court, who just made marriage equality legal, now they want to take it back. And even worse, telling a responsible adult they cannot terminate the pregnancy if they choose. Or where kids are learning about diversity, acceptance, anti-bullying, and people who have no stake at all in the conversation show up and wreak havoc, like our Proud Boys did. Wreak havoc and hell upon everybody and terrorize those in attendance, especially the kids. They're protecting the kids, but yet they're traumatizing them. We had to deal with 2 instances like that here in Columbus, Georgia. Luckily, we have a police department that cares. I've read where most of them just don't care. They let it take place. But Columbus is a little bit better than that. Thank God for that. So we have made some achievements here, and I'm thankful to our Columbus Police Department. Thank you so much for all y'all did that day. I blocked them off with your SWAT tank and everything else. You should have seen it. It was like something I've never seen. And we'll just have every police officer in Columbus, Georgia down there. Because when we do drag queen story time, ooh, tell the children drag queen story. It's your limited minds that can only concept that they're only good for one thing. It's nightclubs. These people live this and walk this and do this every day. Like our very own Cherry O'Cherry, who goes to restaurants and stuff like that and generates bingo nights and game nights and all kinds of things. People love it. People love it. If they don't love it, they don't go. It's that simple. We're trying to pass laws about something you don't like. It's not your country. It's our country. So, I mean, what the hell is wrong with people? Down to this. If we're going to do anything, we're faced today with all these echoes. This is what it basically boils down to. Here we go. What we're facing right now, there's not a lot just a hatred growing. It's the echoes of the past. The echoes of the past that yearn to return to a better America. Y'all know what that better America looks like, don't you? Queers in the closet are better get dead. Women in the kitchen, barefoot and pregnant with a smile on their face. Blacks in the back of the line, not making eye contact. We are facing something that is at the end of an era. And no, unfortunately, they will not go quietly into the night. They want yesterday back, and they are willing to do anything it takes to get us back there. That's why we chose this theme this year, because it's time for us sane people, sane-minded people, to stand up against this oppression. Speak out and march forward. And most important of everything on this, to do list is to work together. Many people still listen to preachers and whoever demonize LGBTQ community, but fail to remember the golden final commandment to love one another. You know, I know I get pissed off a lot of people about this statement, but the Bible is a man-made book. There's nothing you can say to me that ever will contradict that, will ever make it untrue. Nothing. You can say whatever you want to, but you hold sacred a book that man wrote that has been misinterpreted, that has been added to. King James, I mean, he put all his little happy thoughts into it. But I go, you know what the Bible is for me, folks? I'm a Christian. I believe in God, and I'm tired of people turning people away from God. You know, that's ridiculous. I mean, you know, you push people out of the damn pulpits, calling them demons, calling them as children of demons, and saying they're an abomination. Like, sit up there and get that collection plate. That's all it's about. You want more money in that damn collection plate. That's why you preach hellfire and brimstone. You know, I don't see too many preachers out there preaching positive messages of love and unity. No, they're a problem. They are a big problem with it. Faith today is bizarre. It's not God's word. It's not God's message that you're hearing from these places. It's man's infiltration of the word to make their cause seem right. You know what I love the most is whenever I see all these people that get out there and preach and beat the hardest, and it'd be the ones that's on Grinder or whatever caught later on. It's sickening. I'm sorry that you can't love yourself enough. You got to be something you're not. So you're going to make everybody else suffer? No, sir. That's your fault, not ours. Because you didn't have the brave, you didn't have the balls to stand up and do what was necessary. You didn't have you weren't brave enough to say, you know what? I appreciate what you're saying, but you know, God made me for who I am. And you're not going to change what he created. If people would do that more often, we wouldn't have all these problems. You know, the African-American community, I see so many people out there that are down low. Okay. And why are they down low? What do you teach your kids in African-American? You gotta go, you gotta get you a job, you gotta get wives, you gotta have lots of children, lots of children. Do whatever you gotta do, but do this. Teach your kids to be who they are. Be who God made them to be. Stop preaching hell, fire, and brimstone to them that they're going to go to hell and suffer forever. They're not. I know for a fact they're not. I pray every damn night. I've prayed so many times. Lord, please tell me, show me if I'm doing the wrong thing, if I'm leading your people away, if I'm giving them the wrong message, please. Every morning I get back up and I feel emboldened even more to get out there and do the message that we do every day. Preach love, acceptance, stamp out bullying and things of that nature. That's what we're about. That's what we do. And, you know, we must stand up for each other and no longer hide behind the excuse, it's not my fight. The only way we'll stamp out this oppression on all the fronts of evil with racism, sexism, homophobia, intolerance, indifference, radicalism, simply downright hate, is by coming together, working together, putting aside the difference, and remembering that we're all human. Only then shall we rise and rise above the insanity. This world that we're living in right now is chaos. And that's the way they want it. They want it to be just horrible things happening left and right. Well, they did on our Capitol. The fact that we're still talking about it. Donald Trump should be put in jail, honestly. I'm sorry if that just cost me a few viewers, but that's the way it is. Donald Trump is a criminal. He needs to be put in jail. He's a liar. Nothing about that man is genuine. Nothing. His whole history. He even inflated, oh, he's a billionaire. No, he's not a billionaire. He inflated all of his property values so he would look like a billionaire. And he's getting charged for that now. I'm so happy to see it every day, too. I ain't gonna lie. Every time I see another charge brought against him, I love it. And now the January 6th committee, when they met and everything else, and it's just amazing what this man did. He's calculated. I'll give him that. Very calculated in what he did. He knew what he was doing that night. But when I sit there and watch the people up there on that TV, sitting there, stop the count, stop the count. Why? Just because it hit midnight, we're not going to count any more votes? We're going to count every vote casted. And we're still in the election. We're still in the election. Nothing he ever said was true. Nothing. Nothing was ever verifiable true. Hey, I want to give it to my state, Georgia. I appreciate Brad Raffensperger, our Secretary of State, who stood up to him. I appreciate our Governor Kemp, who stood up to him as well. Thank you so much for your bravery and cojones for doing what was right, not letting him walk all over you, because that's what he tries to do. He tries to push you, be a pushover for you. That's what he does. So, I kind of get a little bit of the gist, but we have to also learn about Together We Rise, because we have so much work to be done out here, folks. And this show is going to be dealing with that. I'm going to have people on all the time talking to us about, whatever the topic is that day. One of the things we're really going hell-bent on is getting that non-discrimination ordinance passed here in Columbus, Georgia. But there's also so much else going on out there, fighting all this anti-LGBT legislation. Let me tell you something about Black Lives Matter. I support it 100%. People, my father, all these people don't understand Black Lives Matter. I said, well, you'll never understand it because you're not Black. You've never been pulled over for a dirty tag. You've never felt like you're just looked over in a crowd because you're Black. You've never felt any of those things that they have dealt with day in and day out, every day. So, of course, you don't understand why it's Black Lives Matter. Just take the peace of mind knowing that every life matters, yes. But Black Lives Matter because they've had to endure 250 years of oppression here in this country. They still do today. It's just unreal what people, I said people on this stupid site here in Columbus, Georgia, it's Concerned Citizens of Columbus. And the guy said, there's no such thing as discrimination. I'm like, okay. White privilege is an awful thing to be a part of right now, folks. Don't think about white, just think about human. Don't think about Black, don't think about white, don't think about gay, don't think about straight, don't think about rich or poor, male or female, transgender or whatever. Think about human. We're all in this fight together, folks, and we have got so much coming down around us. We got inflation out the ass. Eggs I heard $9 a carton. What the hell is wrong with eggs? A meme the other day I looked at, and this guy was on one hand knee, had a jewelry box, but it wasn't a jewelry box. It was an egg carton to his bride. So that's how much eggs are getting for today. But this main show right here, this is the first show we're going to do. It's not going to have any guests today or anything like that, but I wanted to kind of cover the basics, what we're going to be doing, what we're going to be taking care of, and everything else. We have an art contest going on right now in Columbus, Georgia, and every year for our pride, we do a art contest based on the theme. And this year is, like I said, Together We Rise, or We Rise Together. You can put it any way you want to. But go to ColgatePride.org and 2023 Colgate Pride T-shirt design contest that's in there. Look at the specs for it and everything else, and you too can enter the contest. Because whoever wins gets their drawing on the front of the T-shirts, the official T-shirt that everybody wears for the 10th annual Columbus, Georgia LGBT Pride Festival here in Columbus, Georgia. I've been chairman of the Citizens Advisory Committee for Transportation for, God, I was chairman for 2 years, vice chairman for 2 years, and I was served on the committee for a total of 6 years. A lot of talks about roundabouts, but they do work. If you don't like them, it's probably because you don't know how to use them right. So go to YouTube, proper way to use a roundabout. Now, yes, they are popping up everywhere. Sometimes they pop up where they're not needed, or pop up into areas that are ritzy and everything else, just to give them a little extra something they want. Like our Green Island Hills here in Columbus, Georgia, they got their own right there. But it does work. It takes away from the power usage. It takes away from the green space. And not to mention, we got land on it. We've seen so many people that just actually plow right through the middle. That's why they wait a little while before the aesthetics in there. But I'm sure people all over the state, all over the country are having problems right now. And, this is not just about Columbus, Georgia. This is about everything we face every day. They're out there bitching about, and I'll make sure we understand this. Yes, Joe Biden had some classified documents in his stuff in the Obama administration. Here's the difference between him and Trump. Trump refused to work with them. Trump refused to give them back. Trump refused every step of the way to get back these documents. He knew he had them. Biden, they have been working with them all the entire way. They've cooperated, everything that they need to do. That's how you take care of business. Okay, we made a mistake. Let's fix this. And then we got these McCarthy in here wanting to just go after Biden. What the hell is wrong with people for even electing these assholes? Oh, we're just giving away the country, giving away the country. No, we're not giving away the country. You've already done that. Done that to China to bail us out, remember? But, this deficit, we're facing something. How do we even sleep at night knowing that we owe this other country that's communist, but is one of the most, I'll give this to China, they're one of the most successful economies in the world up till this year because of inflation and everything else. But everybody's like, oh, we're going to turn to communism, we're turning to socialism. I think there's a better answer to all of it. And, like I said, Together We Rise. It won't happen in my lifetime, sadly, but what we are going to get to one day is, first of all, the schools, they're going to be taught in the home. We're just not going to see any more use for brick and mortar schools anymore because, one, they're full of violence. People getting shot left and right every damn day. How do kids get access to these guns? That's what I want to know. But I guess it's simple. Just mom and dad being careless or whatever. Things happen. Yeah, we let our guards down. But at the same time, though, this is something that's dire, something that's imperative that you put up and keep locked up. I'm so sick of hearing about kids going to, do you hear about the use, what grade was he, second grade or third grade or something like that? Goes in there, shoots his teacher. And what the hell did his teacher do to deserve that? And that woman, I give you, good, God bless her. I mean, she stayed there, made sure all of her kids were out of the classroom and everything else. The first thing she came in and said when they came to see her is, how's my kids doing? That's a good teacher. We need more like that out there. We need to get rid of some of these old teachers that don't do nothing. And let me tell you, people are starting to understand ADD and OCD and all that stuff a little bit better. See, I was treated back in the 80s with it. I had, they called it hyperactivity. They didn't have the ADD yet. And treated me with Ritalin, zombify you, the kid, every day. Oh, because you can't keep up with them, because you can't stay on their level. You really need to look at what the harm you're doing by sedating your children. Oh, it's just too wild. It's just too, no, they got imagination, they got energy, and you're denying them that because you're too lazy to keep up with them. Why have kids if that's the problem? Oh, I forgot. Now we got to, right? So I guess we're gonna have a lot of sedated children out there today. But teachers they couldn't get my attention because they were boring. Sorry. Open your books and read chapter 1 through 3. And that's it. I'm gonna do this shit at home. If you're gonna be a teacher, teach. Teach outside that book. Teach what you got, what the school to teach. The passion that drove you to be a teacher. Use that passion in the classrooms. You'll see a whole different spectrum of participation, grades increasing, everything when you are active and you're energetic and you make it fun. Everybody thinks that they've got to be a killer teacher is an idiot. You're supposed to make these kids want to learn, not hate learning. And y'all overload these kids with too much damn homework. But like I said, it's all going to go to the brick and mortar is going to be going away, and kids will be taught at home. And then what I foresee, and we've already talked about that with several people, community centers. More community centers will be erected. Probably the old schools can be used for that, part of them anyway, for community, where they will actually get time to actually go and socialize. Because that's a very important part of homeschool that a lot of them don't get. They don't pick up on social cues and stuff like that. They're always singled out or singular and never with other kids. So they don't get that portion where, oh, I see what you're saying. Or when they're talking to somebody and get rolls their eyes or whatever, you don't pick up on the fact that, okay, I'm getting tired of hearing the story. Let's move on. Things like that. And they can be overbearing. They don't mean to be. So, I mean, that's just the way it is. But what else is going to be happening? There's going to be so much automation, for one. I mean, here's what I've seen. One, be anything that you want to be. We always tell our kids you can be anything you want to be, right? But then, but you can't be a doctor. It's too much money. You can't be this. It's too much money. Education should be free for everyone. Education in college why is it even a price on it? We want the best doctors. We want the best engineers. If we want the best architects, then let the people that want to do it the most do it. It kills me when I find out that we just deny people left and right what their dreams are. Education has to be free. It's no other way around it. All these damn debts that you get them into and are in debt before they even start their lives. That's bullshit. They just don't do that kind of crap. I mean, this world we live in, this capitalist world is intolerable. You're all worried about the mighty dollar, about more. It's sickening. We could do so much more for people all around the world to keep them all fed, housed, and medicated, healthy. All these things can already be provided. I tell people all the time, everything in this planet was already here for us. It was already here for us, given to us by God. We put a price on it. People don't realize that one step that we just did. If we could undo that one thing, go back in time and say, hey, don't do that. Work it this way. Everybody pulls their weight. Everybody does what they need to do and be a productive member of society. You're always going to have the people that can't do all that. And that's fine. We can take care of those people. But no, we don't want to do that. Those are just lazy bums. There you go, labeling them again. You can't do that, folks. You got to stop the judgment. You're not God. Sure as hell ain't Jesus. So why are you judging? Why do you feel like it is your place to pass a law making, or anything like that against somebody else's life that you don't know anything about? Because you think it's just ridiculous. There's no way around that. I pray to God y'all don't like that damn DeSantis from Florida. I mean, people that want to do these laws got some issues, some real hate issues. Anybody gets called, well, no, we don't hate. No, we don't. One thing Trump did is he took the curtain down from political correctness. He ripped it down because he says what he thinks. He says what he feels. If you really care that much about what this man feels, then you need to get the hell out of here because you're just part of the problem. His hatred, his vileness, oh my God, the way he treats women, the way he treats the handicapped, just his whole general personality is just pathetic. He's a pathetic human being, and you want to rally behind him. It makes you pathetic too. That's all he preaches really, honey, is hatred and separation and division and everything else. The Republican Party's gone wacko. Wacko. Are you still voting for him? Why? You'll never give a president a chance to make something happen. His recovery bill got passed, and you're going to start seeing the effects of it. Guess what? We've already started seeing it. Starting to change it right now. Everything's getting a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. We may still face a recession, but I've lived through 3 of them. It is what it is. We got to stop worrying about this money situation all the damn time. Money. So make sure that maybe please wait. Tips, donations. Thank you. Make sure that you understand we have a lot of work that lies ahead of us. Whether it's LGBTQ, Black, transgender, male, female, we've got a lot of stuff that we're facing right now, folks, and it's not cool. I mean, your kids lack empathy. They have plenty of apathy. They lack empathy because there's nobody at home to teach them. Both parents are working all the time. Things have changed so much to the point where we've got to do more. We have to stop the insanity because it's growing and growing and growing and getting more. Whenever we realize that oh my God, what are we doing? Put the brakes on it, man. And we're going to be calling out those people. Like today, I'm going to call out a few people for people that are keeping us from our non-discrimination ordinance. Charmaine Crabb from one of them. Got reelected, no problem. she's one who led the Columbus needs to rethink this and having the prayer walk to discuss it. I need a prayer walk to discuss non-discriminating against anyone. The only people that you didn't want to do that for were the gays. She said, we do candidate forums on our organization. You're always welcome to watch them on our Colgate Pride page of Columbus, Georgia, COLGAY, on Facebook. And also you can check out our website, colgatepride.org. It's got a lot of stuff on there as well. If you're a resource or whatever, let us know. We'll add you to the resource list, because the more we give information out there, the better we are. So remember that. Always combine your resource. But back to the story. One person I always liked that did his own little podcast, I guess you might want to call it, was, I don't know if you remember him, Paul Harvey. I loved Paul Harvey and listened to him as a kid. And now you know the rest of the story. Paul Harvey, good day. Yeah, I loved things like that. Here I am, gay and everything else and stuff like that. And people wonder why I like Reagan, because he didn't do too much for AIDS. Well, one, we didn't know what it was. Two, he didn't really care. It wasn't the top of his priority. He was still trying to figure out, well, whatever it was, arms for hostages went, because he didn't recall much, because he already had onset of Alzheimer's. But he was a passionate president. He was an actor. But, when the Challenger exploded, it was him that I listened to. He made me feel better. I cry when I hear his speech. I love George W. Bush, George Herbert Walker Bush, and his son. I used to vote Republican down the road. And that was one of my big bad things I used to do, because I was brought up in a Republican household. So I'm supposed to be that same thing. And plus, it was the only thing that me and my father had in common. Now, we don't really have much in common anymore, because, he every time I bring up Obama, he turns red-faced. That's what I told him about not too long ago. I said, why do you still hate on black people? I don't hate no black people. I said, well, your actions show different. You don't want them to get seats of power. And I get Stacey Abrams the last time. I voted for her the first time, but she had ran a good campaign that first time for governor. Second time, not so great. She just kept harping on stuff that wasn't even relevant. Talking about voter fraud. Well, we prevented that from happening here. Georgia has no problem really with that, because we saw it. Now, we do have a problem with people being turned away at polls on things that they shouldn't have, but that's just the way it is. And we've got to change a lot of that. And it all comes down to racism. And black lives do that. Yes, it do. I'm sorry, our people have held you back as long as they have. I really am. But because I've seen firsthand documents, back in the 1940s when they did the Fair Housing Act and stuff like that, they made it illegal for blacks to own. Blacks could own. They couldn't be in the same subdivision with whites. Segregated still out. I wish there was some way that we could change time, but we can't. What we can do is start today. Start moving forward. And stopping all this insanity and crap that we have to hear every day. Like you see in the background of me, we got ignorance on this side, knowledge on that side. My first one. Strike that, reverse it. There you go. We can do all these other things. We can accept people. We can be all inclusive, love, be kind. I tell you, the main thing that we have to remember in life is all the things that we can be in life. Be kind. Be kind to one another. You don't have to be nasty. I get people have made you sick. All the things you see and everything else. And I'm talking to all my friends out there too. You've got to rise above all that. It's easy to become part of the grouch patrol, I'll call them. Because all they want to do is bitch and moan and groan. Bitch, 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 bitch. And nothing's ever perfect, And to the gay folks out there, let me go ahead and tell you this. It's time for you to get up off your ass and do something. I get a lot of hate mail from my own LGBTQ community, because I get on Grindr and I get on sites because I'm a single man. I can do what I want, right? Next time in WTDM calls, make sure you decline, respectfully decline. No. Are you going to get up and do something? No. You're not not going to do anything. Let's do the same thing you've always done. And you know what kills me is they work so hard to do nothing. All the crap that they do, all the blaming, all the vileness, all the other crap that they do. Well, you can turn that into doing something and making a positive impact. They don't want to do that. You know, you want somebody to get out there and fight for you, but yet you don't even appreciate what they do. You don't even go to the thing. You know, there'll be 400 people sign up for a damn drag show, but 6 people to go fight a bill like Senate Bill 129 or Senate House Bill 357 or something like that. Bills that would discriminate. And all of those were voted down because why? We got up and did something, but you know, we get up there, all these people got crowds of people. Miss Georgia's got like 6. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. We've got to do better. So gays, you got to get up off your asses and start doing something. It's time. You know, you can't sit back and just do nothing all your lives and everything else because, oh, I don't want to make a scene. Oh, I don't want to get out there and do nothing. I don't want to be out there and get noticed. If you're ashamed of who you are, baby, then yeah, you do need some self-work. Because love yourself. Remember that. Love yourself. You need some self-work. Because love yourself. Remember that. Love yourself. Always be you. That's our motto for this upcoming decade. You know, when we started our 10th anniversary, I want to make sure that was the one emphasis I wanted people to remember. Always be you. Not what somebody else wants you to be, not what your church wants you to be, not what your parents want you to be you. Because I'm going to tell you this, and I can tell you from experience, I'm happier than I've ever been in my life because why? I've always lived my truth. Now, I lied for a good bit of it until I was about 16. And then I got kicked out because I finally, you know, told them I'm tired of this shit. I'm gay. It came back to bite me in the ass. It really did. But, you know, and that's something I want to pass to here. You know, you're going to hear about that in the weeks ahead. I want to pass a law in Georgia that makes it illegal to throw your kids out because they're gay. We have too many LGBT youth that are homeless because their families turn their backs on them. Now, you tell me where Jesus ever said, kick your kids out because they're gay. He didn't. He didn't ever talk about gay. They're about, oh, he only hung out with the destitute. Yeah, because all y'all thought y'all had it together. He hung out with us because he could relate and understand where we were coming from. He saw the trials that we went through every day from being discriminated upon and hated upon, stoned upon, looked down upon, judged upon. He gave us the lessons that we needed. Jesus Christ's teachings is the Bible. Every step he took on earth, from beginning to end, all the way to the end, especially whenever he gave his life for all of us to sacrifice. That is the Bible. That is the real word of God. Because if you believe in Trinity, God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost are all one. Why don't you believe that? Why don't you learn that? Why don't you feel that? Why do you still keep going back to the Old Testament, which you know is all crap? I mean, it's so messed up. Well, you know, whatever it was, I would love to have seen it myself. I mean, a wonderful time. I would love to ask him a few questions, but we'll all get our chance one day. But I tell you what, you're going to get your chance to do is answer for your behavior, answer for your actions, for all the people that have demonized, judged, and criticized, and hated, and killed, and all these people that are out there that are different from you. It's, you know, you've got this grandiose complex, and you've got to feel superior above everybody else. Another step of failure. When you see yourself as better than someone else, you failed. You should always see each other as an equal. No matter what their skill set is or whatever, that's Christ's teachings. Love one another. You know, don't quit teaching your kids to hate. These kids don't go to school bullying, learn it. They don't learn it at school. They learn it from you, your parents. They learn all this crap from you. Oh, but we're grooming your children. No, we're not grooming kids. We're teaching them something that you failed to do. And that's love each other, accept one another. Quit looking down on people that are different from you. You know, you're going to have a hell of a day for judgment one day. I know that. And I pity you. I really do. I pray for you that, you know, maybe you'll find your way in this life and change your ways. But some people are just set in stone the way they're going to be. And that's all there is to it. But we're going to go ahead. That's it for today. I mean, we're at the 142 mark. We've got like 18 minutes of commercials and stuff like that we're going to be putting into the program. But I want to thank everybody for joining us for our first episode of Rise Above Insanity. This will be podcast on Spotify through Anchor. And I'll, of course, put out the link for everybody so they can watch it. But thank you all the people that joined me today. And remember, you can log in next week, log in every day, and be a part of this conversation. I think you got a little bit about who I am. I mean, I have ran for city councilor 3 times. I didn't finish the whole story, did I? Ran for city councilor 3 times, unsuccessful because they don't want a gay guy, I guess. And plus, the incumbents always will rule. But they'll tell you why. That's going to be another episode too. Nonpartisan elections. It sounds great, but it's really a devious reason behind it to keep all the incumbents in office, because you only get like 12, 14, 18% of the people to go vote during these elections. So you're not getting everybody out there to vote, which it should be in November for everybody. That way, everybody gets a voice out there. Everybody should be going to the polls all those times, but they're not. There's a lot of things that need to change here at home and all around the world. We're going to be facing that together every day on Rise Above Insanity. I'm Jeremy Hobbs. Thank you so much for watching, and y'all have a wonderful day.